Good morning. Good morning, YouTube. How are you guys today? I am in traffic and I was going to do this video last night and then I was going to get up this morning and it didn't work out. So here we are. We're going to discuss the Real Housewives of Atlanta's reunion from last night. Did you watch it? What did you think? I thought it was good. I think the season to me has been kind of lackluster, nothing really going on. But the reunion was pretty good. So here's just a few highlights off the dome because I didn't take any notes. Here are my thoughts. So they started out with Portia and they talked about how she's never really owned what she's done or her part in what happened with Kandi last season. And Portia maintains that she's apologized a million times and Kandi feels like her apology hasn't been sincere enough. And I can understand, you know, both sides. You know, I could see Portia feeling like, look, what else do I have to do? But when Kandi is breaking it down and saying, I feel like the apologies were for TV or they've been too surfacey, you haven't fully acknowledged the potential damage that you've done to me, could have done to me. I don't know why Portia doesn't get that. I really am wondering if Portia is deliberately not being specific enough or showing as much remorse as she could for legal reasons. Because, I mean, Kandi could have sued her and Phaedra for slander. They went on an international show with these ridiculous claims, and it truly, truly could have affected Kandi. I mean, it was horrible. And so it's almost insulting for Portia to act so indifferent at this point. Like, look, I've done all I have to do. I'm over it. I'm not apologizing anymore. That's why I'm thinking it's got to be something else, because she's not an animal, you know? I mean, she has to know she hurt Kandi, and maybe initially her apologies were sincere, but now they're more of the reality TV housewife variety where she says, if I've done anything to hurt you, or I apologize my part in whatever took place. Like, it's very vague, you know? It's not like, Kandi, I'm super sorry, or, you know, it just doesn't seem very genuine. But a lot of time has passed now, and maybe that's why. So that was unfortunate. I really feel like, you know, Portia could have been a little more genuine and sincere. Even when she was crying on the reunion last year, I felt like that wasn't even sincere. I felt like Portia was more upset that Phaedra left her high and dry than she was at what happened with Kandi. And she's never really explained why she was so willing to be complicit in this ridiculous thing with Phaedra. I mean, Kandi was one of the first ones to embrace her and bring her on and do the play and everything. And so why would she be so willing to turn on her? I mean, it's just, that has never been explained. And even when Kandi asked her last season, did you really believe it? She didn't say yes or no. Last night, she still didn't say anything about it. And that's why I really think maybe it was for legal purposes, that she really can't or won't be that real about it. Because, you know, Kandi could be like, you know what? Yeah, I really am going to sue you. You know, I mean, who knows? So what did you guys think about that? Do you think Portia's done enough to apologize? Or do you think there's more work that can be done there? Do you think Kandi will ever forgive Portia? I feel like Kandi will forgive Portia if Kandi can get over her stuff with Nene, which wasn't near as bad. But if she can move on past Nene, I think she can move on past Portia. I don't think they'll ever be super cool again like that. But I don't see Kandi being, you know, punishing her anymore like she did at the beginning of the season. So moving on to Kenya. So, of course, Andy asked her very, you know, early on, you know, any plans for a baby. And I think Kenya kind of got confused. And so she kind of let it slip that she is pregnant. So that's exciting. That was good news. I know that's very important to her. She's really wanted to start a family. And Andy asked about, you know, the marriage. Like, you know, 2 weeks before we started filming, you got married. You didn't say anything. And, you know, Kenya had her little spiel around why she didn't say anything. She said she wasn't thinking about it. You know, the show, this man proposed, she was excited, and that was it. So, you know, in a real world situation, maybe that's true. But Kenya's been on the show forever. So I'm sure even if she knew there was a schedule in 2 weeks, you know, they're going to start filming, she would have had that in the back of her mind somewhere, you know? Because when you think of a wedding, you think about planning, you know, honeymoon, all those things require scheduling. So if you have a job commitment, which Kenya prides herself on being super professional, then you know she did take some consideration around the show. She just didn't care. And that's fine. That's her prerogative. If the show was with it and it worked out, great. But something is really weird about this marriage. Like, I do think she's truly married, but I still think there's maybe some sort of a business arrangement around it, because when Andy asked her, had she met his parents, she said no. And I was like, no? Okay. I understand eloping, the parents and the family, they're not at the wedding, but you've been married now a good minute and you're about to have your first child. And I don't know if he has children. I can't remember. I didn't look into him, but I don't remember if I heard that. But you still haven't met his parents? You've had plenty of time for him to meet your family, you to meet his family, and the fact that they're still keeping it like really hush-hush and all that is really bizarre. So I wonder if this is a baby arrangement where, you know, Kenya really wants to have a baby. Maybe she didn't want to go to the sperm bank. Maybe he wanted kids and she's paying him good. Who knows? Maybe they got a baby nup. Maybe she got the idea from Portia last season with her little thing with, what's his name, Will as well? Not Will. Todd, the other Todd. So, you know, maybe she got that idea. Who knows, y'all? I don't know. Kenya seems happy. Good for her. It's very weird that, you know, she hasn't met his family at all, or his parents at least. I don't know if she's met anybody else. But what did y'all think about that? That was pretty surprising to me. Like, at this day and age, I mean, at this stage of the game, she still hasn't met anybody, or his parents at least. I mean, his parents don't want to meet her. At first, I was thinking maybe they had passed. But she said that they weren't at the wedding because they were on a cruise. So you would have been willing to invite his parents to the wedding had they not been on a cruise, but your own father, who you brought on the show to protect you from Matt and all this stuff, you wouldn't have invited him? Like, it's so weird, you guys. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below about this. It's just very, very bizarre. So they brought out Marlo, which I was surprised because usually they bring out the friend of, I almost said side pieces, the friend of, you know, the third or second episode of the reunion. But the fact that she came out pretty early on was surprising. And she stayed out there. Like Shamia, when she came out last season, I feel like she came out pretty late in the game and she didn't stay. They were like, goodbye, Shamia. But it seems like she was there for most of this episode, and she's going to be there next episode. Now, I've heard the rumors that she's going to get a peach next season. It's all over the blogs that Sheree got fired and maybe Marlo's taking her peach. I don't know. I don't really care for Marlo. Do you guys care for Marlo? I don't really like her brand or drama. I feel like it's really mean-spirited. It's not funny. It's just, I don't like it, you know? But that's, you know, my opinion. What do y'all think about Marlo? I don't think she really adds the right kind of shade to the show. I feel like I said, hers is just more mean-spirited than anything else. So, and who would she be friends with? I mean, is she back friends with Nene or Kenya? No. She was sitting on the couch next to, she's on the side of the couch with Kenya and Candy. Who else is over there? Sheree and Sheree. But you know she's not friends with Sheree. So anyway, y'all, Marlo's out there and she started it up with Kenya, saying she didn't believe that Kenya was really married. Still, she holds to that. And they got into this war of words, and it was really funny because somebody online had said, you know, Kenya doesn't bring it in the reunion. She's good at rehearsed lines and comebacks, but not on, you know, not spontaneous. But that's not true. Kenya has shut them down many a time on the reunion, and last night was no exception. She told Marlo that she was John Amos with a wig. She said a lot of vulgar stuff about Marlo and her proclivity to the way she makes her money. And it was pretty funny, y'all. Her comebacks, even with Sheree. Sheree got into it, and they were talking about, they asked Sheree, or no, they asked, yeah, they asked Sheree. When she asked Kenya's husband about his nose ring, was it sincere? Did she really want one? And, you know, it was obviously shade. Like, Sheree doesn't care about the nose ring. Well, Kenya and Sheree got into it, and Kenya told Sheree she'd rather have a man with a piercing than handcuffs. I was like, amen. So that was pretty good. So the exchanges were pretty good last night. Those are the highlights. Well, oh, one other thing I will say is that, you know, Portia brought it up to Nene that she was upset about Nene saying that she should be fired from the show after the shenanigans from last season. And when Portia brought that up in the season, Nene was like, I never said fired. I never said fired. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if you said fired or off the show. Like Portia said last night, the result is the same. And you're supposed to be my friend, you're calling me your little sister, and yet you said she go. Now, she should have gone. And just like Phaedra, she should have gone. And it's not about being a friend or a sister or whatever. That's, I mean, come on now. You're accusing this woman of a crime, a serious crime. There should be consequences. Even if you weren't the brainchild, you went along with that. You were complicit. If it were a robbery and she was there, she would have got arrested as well. So come on now. But anyway, Nene never acknowledged or could seem to understand what Portia was saying, and you know, whatever. But last night, Portia kind of broke it down, and I kind of repeated what Portia said, and finally Nene's like, okay, I receive it. I was like, all right, now you heard her say that in the season. Why did it take you to the reunion to finally acquiesce? And I think that it's because, you know, Nene has bigger fish to fry. She's going to have to light up Sheree over this Tyrone thing. Kim's coming out next time, and that's going to be something else. I can't wait to see that. So she's kind of like, yeah, this thing with Portia's small, and who cares? Let's make it go away. This reunion is about bigger issues. So I think that's pretty much all that I recall from the show last night. It was good to me. I really enjoyed it. It was over too fast for me. Usually I'm just like, the first one is usually kind of boring, lingers, but I think it was, you know, pretty interesting for a first one for sure. And I'm very much looking forward to next week when Kim comes on. So let me know, you guys, what did y'all think of last night's installment of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion, part 1, season 10, part 1. And I'd love to hear about it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.